All right, so the process of how to be able to create your form, send it out, and then now how to create a map out of it, I'm going to show you right now. So if I have this is an example of one we did earlier in the year, but what you need to do is create your Google form that asks for the name and the information that you're looking for. Very simple. Then send it out through all platforms you want via social media, communities, any avenue that gives you a bigger audience as opposed to your local audience. That being said, then as we all know that a Google form always dumps into a Google Sheet that has the information as well as the locations of where you want the plot points to be. Fantastic. All right, so now what we need to do is create a map. And to create a map, you can do it right from Google Drive. So hit New, go to More, and choose Google My Maps. All right, in Google My Maps, to create a map, it's very simple. Since we already have our data right here called Weather History Survey, what we're going to do now is we're going to import that data. So instead of plot pointing, which you can technically do, I could technically put a point here, type the information in, but that is kind of silly because we just got that data. So now we're going to import it in. So hit import. You could upload a file, but this is a Google Sheet, so it's going to be in my Google Drive. All right, now it's going to be fetching that data. All right, so now what we want to do is determine where we want to place this information. So where do you live will help us because that's going to help us where it's going to place on the map. And then now it's going to pick a column which the title of the place marks. So we'll go where do you live as well. But you could change anything. It could be a person's name or the answer to the question. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to pick both of where those locations are. I'm going to hit finish. All right, so there is how you could place all that data on your map. And if you if you scroll in, you could click on any of this information and it will tell you the timestamp. You could actually remove that if you don't want that on there. So if I don't want that timestamp on there, you could actually delete that from this spreadsheet. Um, or you could just uncheck it as well, and that's fine as well. So here you could add the name of the person and you can even remove that too. So if I don't want to even show the name of the person, it's all about just the data. This will determine that. So this weather history survey will tell me when somebody lived or how long, what happened, and then a description of what happened during that weather history survey, which is really cool. And if you look at all these now, if I uncheck, all right, if we go edit and I uncheck these, it will do it for every one of them, which is kind of nice because then I don't have to go to every single one, which can be kind of a pain. Another really cool feature here too is if you want to give an image to this, if you want to be able to kind of describe what it looks like. So Blizzard, I could even go add an image and I could upload one or I could just do an image search to be able to kind of give it a description of what it actually looks like, which is nice. To preview this, what you do is you can actually hit the preview button. So like in a Google form, you hit that little I button to see. Same concept here. So this actually previews what it looks like to your audience. So if you're sharing this with your students, so if you go to all items, I should be able to see all the information that's here. So if I click on any one of these, it'll not only it'll give you the information, which is much easier to read, but also a plot point here. And you can still scroll in and out just like you typically do in a Google map, which is really cool. And if you notice also that if you click on the one that I just worked on, if I add images, it just kind of gives a lot more of a good look of how, like a description or visual of how it looks. So what's nice about this is now you could get realistic data. You could look at the data in a spreadsheet, and then you could import it directly into a map and give a narrative to kind of explain visually and the story of what you sent out to a bigger audience and answer those kind of, or be able to display that information in one spot. So that's how you could kind of sum this all up.